Get ready to enter the Thrivetime Show. 3, 2, 1, boom!
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. During today's podcast, we have a treat. We are joined here with the NBA Hall of Famer and my friend and partner, David Robinson. David Robinson is a basketball player. Yes, was a basketball player. Yes, I would say that is accurate. You can't refute the fact that he was an NBA Hall of Fame basketball player. You can't refute the fact that he won 2 gold medals while playing on the NBA's dream teams for the U.S. Olympics there. I guess it wasn't the NBA's dream team. It was a dream team, a U.S. Olympic team comprised of NBA greats, and he was one of those players selected. Yes, he does own part of the San Antonio Spurs. But beyond that, David Robinson has probably had more success off the field, off the court, off the sporting, outside of the world of sports than he had inside the world of sports. Think about that. I mean, he was one of the top basketball players of his generation. He was a center. I know if there's ladies listening and guys listening who are maybe not huge sports fans, but he was the center for the San Antonio Spurs. And when he was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs, he wasn't allowed to play those first couple years because he had to he went to the U.S. Navy Academy, the United States Naval Academy, and he had to honor his agreement to serve his country before he was allowed to actually step foot on the basketball court. Once he did step foot on the basketball court, he joined the team that was known for losing a lot, the San Antonio Spurs, and he transformed the organization inside and out. On the court, they won a lot of games, but outside of the court, he really took a proactive approach towards being involved in the community. Since retiring from the National Basketball Association and being inducted into the NBA's prestigious Hall of Fame, he has started a company called the Admiral Fund, an investment fund called the Admiral Fund. And it has generated massive net worth. Academy Sports, the San Antonio Spurs, the Omni Hotels, the Center Plate Company. I could go on listing off all the companies in that portfolio, but he has had massive success. And so during today's interview, I'm asking David Robinson, how do you, the listener, how do we build a brand that represents excellence like he has done? How do you, personal branding, there's so many books out there about personal branding, but how has he been able to build up a personal brand based upon excellence? Most people, when they hear the name David Robinson, they think of excellence and class. So that is going to be the focus of this interview with David Robinson. So now, without any further ado. So whether we want to or not, when people hear the name David Robinson, they hear something.
Right.
They immediately get either a visual or an attitude or a perspective that comes to their mind.
Absolutely.
And all of us, this is true. And so some of us are known nationally, some of us are known locally, some of us are known within our neighborhood, but we all stand for something. And what we're talking about is how to stand for excellence. And David, the founder of Apple, or co-founder of Apple, Steve Jobs famously said, "We don't get a chance to do that many things." And everyone should be really excellent because this is our life. In your mind, why is it so important to be excellent?
Oh, because it inspires people. It draws people to you. It gives you credibility. It expands your influence and your community. There's a lot of reasons to be excellent. The problem is that it's not that easy to be excellent, and it's not that common to be excellent. So, but certainly the benefits will outweigh any of the cost of being excellent.
What if I'm an entrepreneur watching this and I say, I am doing something I'm not excellent at it, and then I want to do something else that I'm not really excellent at, and I kind of want to do something else, and so we look around and we go, wow, I'm pretty below average in all these areas. Would you encourage me to then focus on one area where I could be excellent? Or how do you, is it important just to choose maybe a few things that you can focus on to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Being a jack of all trades and a master of none is I think, a negative.
Okay.
Because if you can do a lot of things, then you should be able to do one or two things very, very well. If you're naturally gifted, I mean, a jack of all trades means you're naturally gifted at some things, but that you just haven't committed yourself to working towards towards those things. So I would always encourage people to focus. Find out what you're really good at. Find out what you like, what you think you have your most potential in, because there's always signs that point towards one thing over another. But you can't multitask. Everybody talks about that. I don't think that that's a real thing. We are all gifted in certain areas, and I know almost no one who's gifted in every area. So it's the best for you to find those one or two areas where you can be excellent, where you can be the best, and zone in and go ahead and work on those.
And just to make sure that the people watching this are understanding, a lot of times we hear of Steve Jobs and we say, well, he started Apple and he ran Pixar and we say, well,
Right.
we don't realize that he ran Apple for a long amount of time. We're talking 15, 20 years. He was focused in one area, and then he went into the next venture for years. And so when we look at your career, when you go on Forbes and you look at your...
Each venture takes a certain level of commitment to be excellent. And I always think about, I don't know who said it, but I always think about if it's worth doing in an excellent way, right? So for me, if I was going to play basketball, my goal was to be the very best basketball player. So I committed time, energy, focus towards being the very best basketball player. When I opened a school, I said I want to open the best school. So we got the right teams together. We spent the time in planning and putting it together and bringing in the right community partners to be excellent. So every venture, as I started, my private equity fund, my partner came from Goldman Sachs. That's the gold standard in private equity, in capital. So I said, let's be excellent. Let's put together a team that is going to do an outstanding job. And I know what my talents are. I bring my talents to the table in each equation, but excellence is my goal in each area.